Hello, dosto. My name is Deepak, and I'm a tax code advisor. Today's tax questions comes from Jamie, and Jamie is asking, "What happens if my parents go into a nursing home and they have a primary residence? Can Medicaid come after their home? Should I buy their house and perhaps rent it back to them to avoid this?" So this is a very tricky question that a lot of people are actually not paying attention to. It has something to do with how Medicare do your calculation for calculating your benefits. So what he's afraid of is that, let's say his parents go into a nursing home and Medicare provides some assistance, maybe 100,000, 200, $300,000, and then they go like, wait a minute, this person have some assets, this person has a house, and why not we try to recoup that $300,000 that we have spent on his Medicare by going after their assets. In this case, that's his primary home. So I have a few thoughts on that. So number one is, in most cases, primary residence is usually protected from Medicare calculations. So you don't have to worry about that. But just because it's protected doesn't mean that Medicare cannot go after the property. I have seen it a few times, depending upon which state you are in. Sometimes state laws can be a little bit tricky, but it is possible that the Medicare can go after the primary house as well. They might not go after it right away. Maybe they will wait until the person passes away, and then they'll say, look, we spent $400,000, $500,000 on providing Medicare, and now we want to recoup those funds. So it is possible for Medicare to go after them. Now, second part of the puzzle is, so what do we do about that? Well, first of all, in order for you to do anything about that, you have to do your planning at least 5 years in advance. Why? Because Medicare looks at any transaction that you might have done in the last 5 years. And if in the last 5 years you have done any kind of transfers, you have gifted the property, you have sold the property, or anything like that, then they would want to investigate that and perhaps try to go after that asset in order to recoup whatever they have paid on Medicare. So that 5-year rule is a little bit of a tricky rule. So if your parents are going to go into nursing home this year or in the next couple of years, then regardless, there's really not much you can do as far as planning is concerned. You cannot transfer their assets in any way, because even if you do, that does not really protect the asset to begin with. Now, 5 years ago, or if you have 5 years before you go to nursing home, then you can. For example, you may consider transferring all the assets into a trust, and you relinquish all your control over those assets and let your trust manage it all together. So in that case, that would not count against your Medicare, because you did that transaction at least 5 years in advance, and you have no control over the assets. Now, that itself have a lot of issues. For example, you don't have any control over it, and maybe you want to make some change, or maybe your health is just fine and maybe you don't even really need Medicare. So all kind of situations can happen within 5-6 years that you might regret that decision. So I don't really like it unless you really know for sure that you're going to need that nursing care. Now, as far as you buying the house, that itself presents a lot more challenges. Like I said, one of the challenges itself is that if it's done within the first 5 years, then Medicare will still go after that. But second thing is, what if you have siblings? Would your siblings be okay with it, or would they try to dispute that transaction altogether? It creates all kind of asset protection related issues. It creates all kind of estate planning related issues, because you're kind of doing things in a sloppy way. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. But again, I need to understand your situation to better understand what you're planning to do here. Another issue is from a tax point of view. And after all, I'm a tax guy, so I got to talk about that, right? So from a tax point of view, it's also problematic as well. Why? Because if you buy the house right now, obviously that wouldn't be considered a gift to you, or maybe you buy it at market value. And that means you're not getting any step-up basis, versus if you don't buy the house and you inherit that property from your parents once they pass away, then you are going to get step-up basis. So you're kind of leaving some tax benefit on the table. But let's just say you don't care about yourself. You're really doing it from another point of view. You really want to help out your parents. So let's think about it from their point of view. Let's say you did buy the property and now you rent it to them. So you are going to collect market rent from them, or you are going to do below market rent. In most cases, if you collect the market rent, then once again, that might defeat the purpose to begin with. But let's just say if you do it below market rent, then that would be considered a gift to your parents. So now we have gift tax issues that we would have to deal with. So there are all kind of issues with this idea about you being able to buy the property and then renting it back to your parents. My advice to you would be, first of all, consult with a tax professional. Number two, you might want to get some sort of estate planning attorney involved, and then you maybe need some help from some consultants who specialize in nursing homes and elderly care, and collect more information about that. Maybe there is a better way to help them as well. So if you need my help, you're welcome to reach out to me, and I'll be able to guide you accordingly. Once again, guys, my name is Deepak and I'm a tax code advisor. If there's anything I can do to help you, do not hesitate to reach out. Just go to taxcodeadvisors.com and you can set up an appointment with me. Now, if you have a question that you would like me to answer using a video format, just leave it in the comment, or you can send it to me through my website, taxcodeadvisors.com, and I'll be happy to make a video on that question. Thank you so much for spending your last couple of minutes with me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.